Good day, dear creatives. So today we are going to be changing the shade of this orange Sinamay fabric to burnt orange. Now let's get right into the video. Boil about 3 liters of water inside a wide pot. Then get your Sinamay ready by dipping it inside a basin of water or passing it under running tap water. We are also doing the same for our bird cage veil, which is also known as fascinator face net. Now the water is boiled, you add a tablespoon of salt to the water, and then you also add Dylon dye. We are making use of red dye, which is scarlet. That's actually what is going to convert our orange Sinamay to burnt orange. So I'm just going to add a little quantity to the water, just enough to make the water look blood red. And then I mix thoroughly with my spoon, making sure that the salt and the dye solution dissolves completely. Next, we're going to introduce the Sinamay right into the pot. You can see that I'm folding it. That's because my pot is not wide enough. So it's always good to invest in a wide pot for projects like this. So I'm just going to fold it, dip it in, and then use my spoon to be able to dip it in further the more. So at this point, you're just going to dip your Sinamay inside the dye solution and make close observation. When you have achieved the desired color, that's when your orange Sinamay must have darkened to an extent. You can bring it out, look at it, and see if it has reached the shade of burnt orange that you want. And if it hasn't, you can continue to dip it into the dye solution until you have achieved the color you want. So note, when you are doing this kind of project, you shouldn't leave your dye solution unattended to, because it just takes a few minutes for the orange to get darker and become burnt orange. So you always have to make observation every now and then, so that once you get your desired color, you pull it out from the dye solution. Now while we're watching that, let me give you a background lecture on dyeing. We know from our knowledge of primary, secondary, and tertiary colors that you mix 2 primary colors to get a secondary color. Orange, being a secondary color, is a mixture of equal quantities of yellow and red colors. But when you have an excess of red color mixed with yellow, you're going to arrive at burnt orange. So in the case where our starting material is already orange, it only makes sense that if we're going to arrive at burnt orange, we will have to introduce red dye into the orange solution, in which case is our orange fabric, and that's how we arrive at burnt orange. So I'm almost done with my dyeing. You can see I've got the shade that I want. Oh, this is beautiful, this is lovely. So now I'm done with the Sinamay. The next thing I'm going to be doing is I'm going to take this out and I'm going to rinse it under running water or inside a basin of water. So I'm going to dye this next. You can see that the orange is not the same shade anymore, so I have to make sure that this particular orange is going to be the same color as the Sinamay. So while I have that on the fire, I'm going to rinse the dyed Sinamay under running water or inside a basin of water. Now it's very important that you rinse your Sinamay immediately after dyeing, because it's a crucial step, and if you do not rinse your Sinamay, you end up having a lot of blotches and uneven discoloration when it dries. There, completely rinsed and ready for it to be spread under the sun. So now we're going to check on our face net, also known as bird cage veil. We'll check on it to check if the color has eventually matched our Sinamay, and we're going to spread the both of them under the sun. There it is, about 45 minutes under the sun, and the face net and Sinamay is completely dried. Just look how beautiful that color is. Popping burnt orange. So here is our final creation, the fascinator, which we used the burnt orange fabric to create. Isn't that just beautiful? Tell me if this is not burnt orange. Now tell me if this is not burnt orange. Thank you once again for watching our video. Like, share, and subscribe, and don't forget, we'll see you next Sunday. Thank you.